friend, how you been? So I have been reading a lot of books, and I've got an interesting one for you today, especially if you like Sherlock Holmes and women's fiction. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I have an interesting book for you. It's a different take on Sherlock Holmes, and it's called A Study in Scarlet Women. I have it on my iPad. It's by Sherry Thomas. I've been reading Sherry Thomas for a couple of years now. She usually writes romance. They're romances that have a lot of depth. The thing I love about her is her dialogue. She has really fun dialogue. And the romances that I've read of hers, they've usually got some pretty deep themes. And she doesn't write the expected romance, which is what I like about her. Her time period, she's usually in the 1800s, but at the same time, she's dealing with some modern themes. So this particular book, it's called A Study in Scarlet Women, and it's the first of a series. It's called the first in the Lady Sherlock series. So this story is about a really interesting heroine. So I wouldn't call this romance. There's a guy who, in the story, there's a guy, and clearly he is a romantic figure, but they aren't involved. He's married, which of course is gonna put a wrinkle in things. And she is a woman who has always known she didn't want to have children and she wanted to be independent, which was pretty hard to do in the 1800s. So she puts herself in some situations that allow her independence, although it's definitely not the easiest path in the world that she picked. Again, it's not a romance. It's more women's fiction that takes place in the 1800s. How's that for a twist on a genre? And she's, it's a Sherlock Holmes, so clearly she's solving mysteries. And she figures out that solving mysteries, because, Sherlock Holmes is one of those people who's very, very observant and can make connections between data points that don't necessarily look like there's a connection. So if you've watched any of the Sherlock Holmes, he always, because it's usually a he usually can make connections between data points that nobody else can see. This is the same idea, same Sherlock, but female. So she also brings that female intuition into it. It's a really interesting take, and it's a pretty long book. It wasn't a long read, but I didn't finish it in a day. It took me a few days to finish it, and I really enjoyed the whole thing. It was really, really good. So for this one, daisies. I gotta give this one 4.5 daisies. Not only because I love Sherry Thomas, but also because it's such a twist on a genre. I don't think I've ever run into something that was truly women's fiction, but set in the 1800s, and with a woman who is really struggling with forcing everyone to allow her to be her, to allow her to be the person that she is. And she kicks up a ruckus with everybody. So, yeah, Sherry Thomas, A Study in Scarlet Women. Check it out. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for any of your comments. I love to hear comments. And if you've come across a book that's a twist on a genre, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click the bell if you want to get a notification every time I upload, and I will see you next time. Bye.